This video goes over how to calculate gross pay with commissions. The problem reads, Samuel earns both $7.25 per hour and a 10% commission on all sales. During the most recent week, he worked 42 hours and made total sales of $11,000. All right, so let's approach the problem by first laying out the information. There's a rate of $7.25 per hour and also 10% commission on sales. And he worked 42 hours. His total sales is $11,000. So 42 hours, we know right away, 2 hours of overtime. All the information laid out now. Now understand that in order to calculate the gross pay, we have to add up each of the components of pay. And in this case, gross pay is made up of regular wage, commission wage, and overtime wage. We need to calculate each of these components and add them up. So first, regular wage. Regular wage is $7.25 per hour. And how many hours? It's 42 hours. Okay, here we are using method 2. Recall method 2 is we take all of the hours, in this case 42 hours, including the 2 hours of overtime. But these 42 hours we are calculating at the wage rate of $7.25. And that comes out to $304.50. Okay? This again includes the overtime hours, but this is at the regular rate. So we still need the additional overtime wage. Okay, 2 hours of overtime is not at $7.25. It's gonna be above this amount. And we know overtime is 1.5 times this. Okay, we'll get to that. Next, commission wage. Here, commission wage is $11,000 in sales times 10%. So that gets us $1,100 in commission wage. Now we have satisfied these two components, regular wage and commission wage. Next, what is the overtime wage, the premium amount or the additional amount? And this is somewhat complicated. We need to do a lot of calculation. So let's take a look here. To get the additional overtime wage, first we need the overtime wage rate. What is the rate of overtime? And we know the rate of overtime is going to be 1.5 times the regular wage rate. All right. But do we know what is the regular wage rate? It doesn't give us in the problem, does it? So we need to figure that out, and how we do it is on this line right here. We know the regular wage that we had already calculated here, $304.50, and commission wage, $1,100. Commission wage and regular wage are all total up. It's part of the regular wage. Okay? Commission here, as noted, regular pay. It's part of regular pay. That's very important to note. And we take this total regular wage, which is made up of the hours worked plus the commission wage, and take the total, divide by the total hours, all the hours worked, which is 42 hours. So we have $33.44 per hour as the regular wage rate. Now, when we know the regular wage rate, we can calculate the overtime rate. We only need to apply 1.5 times, 1.5 times the regular rate in order to get the overtime wage rate. And it comes out to $50.16 per hour as the overtime rate. And this is 1.5 times more than the regular rate of $33.44. So now with the overtime rate, we can calculate the additional overtime. All right, we take the $50.16 per hour of overtime rate minus the regular rate, $33.44. So this is the amount of premium, amount of wage that we get as premium when we work above 40 hours, when we work overtime. And this premium is $16.72. And again, that's taking the overtime rate minus the regular rate. So it's the amount that's above the regular rate. That comes out to $16.72 per hour. So this rate, the overtime rate, times 2 hours comes out to $33.44. That's the amount of premium, the amount of overtime wage for working overtime above the regular rate. All right, that's $33.44. So now we add all three components together. Again, we know the gross pay is regular wage plus commissions wage. These two are considered regular. And then overtime wage. So add the three together and we get how much? $1,437.94. That's the 304 plus the 1,100 and the $33.44. That's this number, the regular wage plus the commission wage and the additional or premium overtime wage. What's important here is that we need to note the 10% commission or the commission wage as being part of regular pay. So when we know that it's part of regular pay, we add the two together. The 1,100 of commission wage plus the regular hours wage worked, all of that combined, and we divide by 42 hours to get us the regular rate. That's a very important note. And once we get the regular rate, we can almost immediately get the overtime rate because we times 1.5. And once we times 1.5, we get the overtime rate. And we are given the overtime hours, which is 2 hours out of this 42. And 2 hours times this overtime rate gets us this amount of $33.44 as the overtime amount, the premium that we get for working overtime. So that combined with the regular wage rate from the hours worked plus the commissions, and we get the gross pay of $1437.94. That's how we calculate this gross pay with the commissions.